Yeah, it's 80 degrees outside. Yeah, I'm talking to Butch Robins. Uncle Butchie's back in town. How you doing, Butch?
I'm doing good, Tim. How are you today?
I'm doing good. You've been here since the show started. We just been talking off the microphone and.
Yes, sir. I'll get closer and everything.
But you brought your banjo. We figured the time's slipping away here. It's 4:35 in the afternoon. Time's slipping away here, and figured if we gonna have some fun with the folks listening here on the Tim White Bluegrass Show, we better turn these microphones on.
Yeah.
So tell the folks where you live.
I live in between Dublin and Pulaski, Virginia, on the Lee Highway.
The Lee Highway?
Yes, sir.
Last time you was in here, you played some Lee Highway blues for us.
Yes, sir. That was on that C-tuned banjo that I do. I got one that I carry that I tune there in the key of C. What do they call it? A double C or something like that.
Yeah. You're a double-fisted banjo picker.
I'm a two-fisted banjo picker. One can't hold me.
If you chewed tobacco, you'd be well balanced with those.
That's right.
Snuff
you
lines
dribble out of both sides of my mouth.
You got a banjo in each hand when you travel. Well, we want you to play some live for us. What have you been up to? What brings you to the big city, to Bristol?
I'm promoting a show that I got in Floyd, Virginia this coming weekend.
Tell us about it.
Well, I don't know much about it. I'll just go over there and set up with my banjo and sit and play for the neighbors and expose them to my latest identity crisis, and we'll go forth gallantly. Well,
give a little insight on what you're going to be doing, though. It's pretty interesting, I think.
It's what I do when I do programs myself is like an extended version of a house concert where I just play some tunes and tell some stories, and it might be where the tunes came from or something about in my musical background, how I encountered these pieces of music or these various folks, and tell some of them old lies, you know.
Mm-hmm. Lies and half-truths.
Lies and half-truths.
No, I've heard, you and I talk, like I said, today even, I've heard some more, and I don't believe you're lying to me. Most everything, I'd say 99% of what you tell, you don't have to lie about. You've got some real interesting, true stories.
Yeah, that's why I'm such a popular character among my contemporaries.
I wouldn't worry about it.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm in the same boat with you, fella.
It hasn't affected my handicap whatsoever.
Butch Robins, you played years ago with Bill Monroe, and is one of the Bluegrass boys, and some of the other stuff. You've produced some very fine records over the years too.
I've gotten real lucky on records that I've made either under my name or the name of the Bluegrass band. I had come up with that group after I quit Bill Monroe. As a matter of fact, I brought you one of their CDs now, so you can.
I'm gonna cue this up while you talk.
Anyhow, the first group that I put together after I got out of that was a group of guys who had been playing around Nashville a lot in between the jobs. Alan O'Brien and Blaine Sprouse had been working for James Monroe, and I was working for Bill, and we had a mutual friend down there by the name of Ed Dye, who had been in show business ever since the mid-50s. His first show business work as a real professional beyond being a cameraman for the Jim and Jesse show in Dothan, Alabama, as he had gone to New York to get into acting and done summer stock with David Frost up in the title cut and the one right after that if you want to hear Ed.
All right, yeah, we're looking at the CD here on.
Yeah, but anyhow, Ed wound up doing backstage work on the Gary Moore and Ed Sullivan show, so he was much more than being a very entertaining musician and singer. He also knew a lot about the backside of the camera and everything. If we had a TV show to do, I'd send Ed in an hour early, and the script would be laid out as such that when we came in, all we'd have to do is stand in front of the camera and do what we did. Ed knew how to talk to the lighting guys and the sound guys and everything else and get us
Jim and Jesse talking about that show, those shows.
Yeah, it was a syndicated thing that they did. I think they were attached to Martha White back then.
Well, let's go to this. The Bluegrass band, second cut. Which one do you want to go on?
The one Another Saturday Night. It's an old Jimmy Skinner song there, and it really shows off Alan O'Brien singing back then. So.
All right, let me get that queued up here.
All right.
All right, so another Saturday night, then we'll come back and do the Alabama Jubilee.
Yeah, now that'll be Ed playing on his Rhythm Bones.
On which one?
Alabama Jubilee.
All right, we're going to play that next. Let's listen to another Saturday night.
Okay.
Good stuff. Talking to Butch Robins here on the Tim White Bluegrass Show. And we're playing a couple of songs here off the CD, the Bluegrass Band. Second cut. It was released on Hey Holler Records, looked like back in 1991.
Yeah, actually we did it in 1982. It was a promotional device. It was part of a press kit that we used to send out. We needed something so people could hear us. We were a new band and all. So we had a tour of the Northwest going. And I remember we made the record at a place called Castle Studios in Nashville. And we didn't get it done in time so we could have it pressed and packaged before we left on our tour. So we wound up sending it out to Seattle. And Phil Williams, who used to own Voyager Records, I think, wound up having a few hundred copies of pressed up for us so we could use them for our intended purposes and all. But it was a promotional device, and some of them we sold on our programs, but the record never really got released. There are a couple of cuts on this thing that we had put as a demo, you know, that we were going to send to some of the record labels of that day and everything, but I didn't last long enough in the band for any of all that to come down.
Good banjo break. It was just really nice to hear that banjo break on another Saturday night. Jimmy Skinner song, by the way.
Yeah. Alan was a great Jimmy Skinner fan.
You were talking,
especially of his lyrics. I mean, he just loved Skinner's lyrics.
Well, Alan O'Brien, most everybody nowadays know him as a fine banjo picker, but you said...
Just listen to the rhythm, the rhythm on this entire record here. He was a rhythmic force, playing the guitar.
And that was him on the lead vocal.
he used to complain he had iced his arm down like a baseball pitcher, that was having problems and everything. We used to get through at the shows, and he said I was wearing him out on that guitar. So when I quit, he switched over to banjo and hired Pat Enright. And
yep.
They've been a great band ever since.
Nashville Bluegrass band from India. Let's play another one off this. It's on the Hay Holler record label from 1991. The Bluegrass Band, second cut. And Butch Robins on the banjo, Blaine Sprouse on the fiddle, Alan O'Brien guitar and vocals, David Sebring on acoustic bass, and Ed Dye, late and great Ed Dye on the dobro, bones, and vocals. Tell us about Alabama Jubilee. What's going on here?
This is just one of Ed's tunes. Ed had about a half a dozen tunes. I tried for years to get him to learn more material, but he wouldn't do it. He had Jambalaya and Alabama Jubilee and Hot Corn, Cold Corn, and that's all. Ed's act was beyond the music. It was something entirely different. He imagined himself an entertainer out of a hip version of the ones out of the era of maybe Bob Hope or somebody like that. He imagined himself as a master of ceremonies. That's what his Shinbone Alley All-Stars is all about. I think Rounder gave him a contract after this band, and he was actually able to record that ensemble that he had together.
Well,
he was a nut, Barney. He was a nut.
A good nut.
A good nut. He was a great fella.
Here's the Alabama Jubilee.
You ought to see Deacon Jones just to rattle them bones. There's old Parson Brown dancing around like a clown. There's old Aunt Jemima and she's past 83. She's showing out full of pepper. Watch your step. One-legged Joe dancing around on his toe. Throws away that crutch and hollers, hey, let it go. Whoa, now, mama, dog, yeah, now the gang's all here. It's that Alabama Jubilee. Deacon Jones just rattled them old bones, and there's old Parson Brown dancing around like a clown. Aunt Jemima past 83, she's shouting out full of pepper. Watch your step. One-legged Joe dancing around on his toe. Throws away that crutch and hollers, hey, let it go. Whoa now, mama, whoa now, mama, whoa now, mama, yeah, it's that Alabama Jubilee. Rattle them bones, Parson Brown dancing around like a clown. Aunt Jemima past 83, shouting out full of filth. Watch your step, watch your step. One-legged Joe dancing on his toe, throws away that crutch and hollers, hey, let her go. Yeah, mama, Lord, now, yeah, the gang's all here. It's that Alabama Jubilee.
It's 80 degrees outside right now. We're 10 minutes in front of 5. Butch Robins is in the studio, and I'm glad you come by, Uncle Butchie. Come by every chance you get. Yeah, and you got that banjo out here.
I got the banjo.
You do, don't you?
Boy, and it's all kinds of tunes right now.
Well, driving up in the...
Tune it while the next record's going on. And then
well, I can play another one off of the Bluegrass Band, second cut.
What you got there? What might be an up-tempo something?
How about the wreck of the old 97? That's always a heartwarming story.
Either that or is White House Blues on that?
Yeah, it's the final cut. Let's do that, and then Uncle Butchie's going to tune this banjo and have some live music. stuff right there. That's Butch Robins on that. How fast was the speedometer showing on that song, The White House Blues, when y'all did it?
Probably with the metronome and everything on it, it'd be something. I was stuck maybe 176, 180, somewhere along in there.
I pulled out a guess. That's moving on. Solid music right there. Butch Robins in the studio.
Speed is what.
Yeah, really.
That youngin' right there, I swear I ain't never heard anybody play so fast.
He was at our Song of the Mountains Festival over in North Carolina this past May, and it was just phenomenal. Standing there on stage watching him go.
I wound up going with him we picked him up in New Jersey and took him to Tex Logan's 85th birthday party.
Uh-huh.
And as far as Tex was concerned, it might have been Elvis walking in the room. You know, when Michael came in. Tex loves Michael's playing and everything. And I spent about a week with him. I took him back home after the deal up there and stayed with him a few days. I have never been obliterated so bad in my life with just pure speed. I've never seen anybody can play. And the weird thing about it is there ain't nothing about that boy's technique that you could use to teach somebody else how to play.
He don't even look like he's moving.
No. Well, he grabs a bow. When he grabs around the fiddle bow, he grabs it with his fist. Mm-hmm. It's not held like that, and he plays stiff-armed as all get out. And everything, it's the same way. He's a wonderful banjo player, but his fingers don't ever watch away, you know. You see him play, it's kind of like Rural Yarborough used to be, played for Bill Monroe. His fingers come straight out like that.
But when he's got that, yeah, you're right, he just holds that fiddle bow like a banana.
Yeah. He came in my room one night, one of my Uncle Butchie's Bar Boutique and Metaphysical Learning Center hospitality suites up in Louisville. And we had Michael Fagan, the fiddle player who plays with Larry Sparks, was in there that night, and we were playing, and Michael played the guitar with us that night. And that guitar picked flying at them strings from every direction, but when you heard it, when you wasn't watching him, you could have swore he had all the technique of a Ray Eddington or somebody like that playing. I mean, it was so smooth and so amazing. Good.
Yeah.
He's just... You know, I've always thought that in order for bluegrass music, as they call it nowadays, to get into the mainstream, in order for it to do that, it was going to have to internally develop a star. Now, I'm not talking about somebody who goes out here and makes themselves a success in country music or somewhere else and then comes back to their roots, because that in itself sort of has a demeaning connotation. If it's that good, why didn't you stay there? Mm-hmm. Type thing. I think it has to internally do it, and I think Michael Cleveland has that potential because his talent supersedes his handicap. When you think about him, you know, you think about him, or I do, in the realm of somebody like a Stevie Wonder or a Ray Charles.
Is he 100% blind?
He can distinguish light and dark sometimes.
Okay, I thought that he could.
And it's like a shadow. If somebody walks in front of him or something, he perceives as a shadow, but... I don't know. The guy, he's such a great guy to be around, and he's so darn funny.
Yeah.
And he's all about music. There's nothing else going on with him.
Well, hey, I tell you what, sneaking up on the break here, let's do this. Here's Butch Robins. Here's Butch Robins with his banjo.
Should I be playing Danny Boy, or do you want...
was on his 5-string banjo. Good stuff. Good stuff, Butchie.
The old 5-string minor dipper, as Carter Stanley used to say. You said it's Carter's birthday tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. Carter Stanley's birthday would be tomorrow if he were still living. And he was born in 1937, tomorrow's date. No, I mean 1925.
Same age as my dad. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
My dad was born in 1925. Then you got J.D. Crowe, and he's going to be on your Song of the Mountains.
Yeah, J.D. will be on our Song of the Mountains September the 6th. He's going to have a birthday tomorrow.
Yeah.
J.D. will be 77 years old tomorrow. No, 74 years old tomorrow. No, I'm right the first time. He's born 1937.
All right, let's cipher on that now. 37 minus 0 plus 0 equals 0. We'll get there. What'd you say, 77?
77.
I'm glad we got there.
We're banjo pickers. We're not mathematicians. How about another one? Take this.
Here's Snuffy Jenkins' wife's favorite banjo tune, Margaret Jenkins. Butch Robins live on the Tim White Bluegrass Show. I'm going to ask you this, and we're going to go to a pause. I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Asked me.
Who's your favorite banjo picker?
Edwin Lacey.
That wasn't the answer I was looking for. I asked you that once. You said me.
Me?
81 degrees right now. Tri-City's Top Guns, 4 minutes past 5. You're driving safe, right? If you're just tuning in, Butch Robins, my good friend, is in the studio with his 5-string banjo, and come by as often as you can. I like sharing the microphone with you, Butch.
Well, good. I'll try to get down here.
You're one of my heroes.
Well, shucks. I'll be daggone.
Well, now, did you want to talk about this event you have coming up one more time for folks who might not?
It's just over to a place called the Dogtown Roadhouse, and it's actually a pizza place. They've got these hearths over there, and they got their fires going, and they...
Where's it at?
In Floyd, Virginia.
Okay.
It's on Route 8 through the red light, and if you're coming from Christiansburg in there, you go through the red light, and you'll go past the Floyd store where they have the... you're wearing them... pumpkin.
Well, they're not pumpkin seeds. They're sunflower seeds.
Sunflower
My
seeds.
wife sent these over, and once you start eating them, you can't put them down.
Well, I believe it. It's kind of like that potato chip thing that they used to have going.
Popcorn, peanuts.
But anyhow, at the Dogtown Roadhouse, they've got a listening room in the back of the thing where they've got it set up for performances back there. A friend of mine named Jim Lord talked with the folks over there, Rick and the guys, and got me...
Jim Lloyd?
Jim Lord.
Oh.
He's a songwriter from New York that's moved into the area up there where I live, and he's a record producer and all this other stuff.
And when's this going to take place?
Saturday night, on the 30th.
Okay. And what time?
8 o'clock.
All right.
And I think I'm doing a couple of sets, maybe be 45-minute to an hour sets, and it'll be just banjo stuff. There'll be a variety of banjo stuff and telling them old lies and stuff like that.
You don't have to lie. Your true stories are self-embellishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it, self-embellished. That's good.
Well, I tell you what, treat us to another banjo. So I know you got to get out of here, and so do I. We've got a little more time left on the show, but let's fill it up with some live music from Butch Robins.
What kind of banjo tune do you want?
Any of them that you want to play?
Well, I got into a curious thing last year that I went to Nashville, Tennessee to record some for a friend of mine down there. And while I was in the studio, the engineer got me to play with some youngsters who had come in the studio, and they wanted to play with an ex-bluegrass boy. I wanted to play some of that good old bluegrass music.
That'd be you.
And within 30 minutes, here we were going. Honest to goodness bluegrass for you right there.
I don't even say you got a big wingspan on that last chord you grabbed. I don't even know. That's not even on my banjo.
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
These days, the girl from Ipanema.
No, what was that chord?
It was F major 7.
That's what I thought it was.
There you go.
My goodness. Give us some Bluegrass Boys music right there. And we'll get one more. Butch Robins, thank you for coming by, Uncle Butchie.
Thanks, Tim. I'll see you again.
All right.